Hello my amazing friends. Today, I bring you another sweet African tale, full of mystery, wisdom, and lessons for the heart. Sit back, relax, and let us begin this journey together. Before I continue, my dear friends, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, like, and share this video with your loved ones. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much. Today, I'm sharing a story from my own life, a testimony really, that reminds us that even when the road is rough, our God is faithful. My name is Peace, and my journey starts in the heart of the city, not with riches, but with a sewing machine and a dream. I was 25 years old, vibrant, full of hope, and spending most of my days in service at the church. That's where fate, or maybe destiny, decided to step in. It all began, as many of the best things do, in church. That's where I met my first husband, IK. IK was a friendly face, a charming guy, running a small business, you know, one of those hustle and bustle side gigs. Me, I was a seamstress. I loved the feel of fabric between my fingers, transforming a simple piece of material into a dress that made a woman feel beautiful. I wasn't rich, but I was always busy, always focused. We became good friends first. Like, really good friends. We'd talk after service, share ideas about our businesses, and just generally laugh a lot. It was comfortable, easy. No drama, just genuine connection. We dated for a while, and honestly, the friendship was the foundation of everything. After about a year of this beautiful, easygoing courtship, IK proposed. And of course, I said yes. We got married, and for a time, we were truly happy. We built a little nest together. But, my people, you know how it is in this life, love doesn't pay the rent. The big problem we had, the one that kept whispering in the corners of our home, was money. We were struggling, just scraping by. Every time the month ended, a little cloud would hang over us. Then, God did bless us. He sent us the most beautiful, precious gift, a little girl. She was everything. Her smile was sunshine in our humble home. Holding her in my arms, I felt like the richest woman in the world, even if our bank account was empty. Life was full, but the financial stress was real. We were living in a rented apartment, and our landlord was always around. One evening, my husband, IK, called me over. He sat me down, and in that way men have when they're trying to test the waters, he started talking. It began like a joke, like a funny little observation. Peace, he said, with this strange look on his face, I keep watching the landlord, the way he looks at you. I think that man, he loves you. I laughed at first. It was a nervous, quick laugh. IK, stop that kind of play. Don't you ever talk like that, I told him, trying to keep my voice light, but already, a cold knot was forming in my stomach. But he didn't stop. He pushed it. No, seriously, Peace. Maybe you can try to make something happen there. You know, to help us out. My heart sank. I worried my husband to death to stop that kind of talk, to never mention it again. I thought he was just frustrated, just stressed by the bills. I thought it was just the devil of poverty talking through him. About 6 months later, the moment we always dreaded arrived. The landlord came knocking, his face stern, asking IK for the rent money. It was overdue. IK had nothing. He looked defeated. He told the landlord straight up that he had no idea how he was going to pay. I couldn't stand to see my family on the street, so I did what any wife would do. I went into my last savings, the little bit I'd managed to hide away from my sewing business, and I gave it all to IK to pay the landlord. The sigh of relief was short-lived, though, because the money still wasn't complete. It covered most of it, but not the full amount. For 3 months, we lived on pins and needles. Then, the landlord started disturbing us again, this time for the remaining money. He was aggressive. He was relentless. One evening, IK came home and he was a different person. He refused to eat the dinner I had cooked, his favorite, and he just stared into space. I was confused, and honestly, scared. I was about to ask him what was wrong when, to my surprise and total shock, he stood up, walked into our room, and came out carrying my big travel bag. His face was contorted with anger. He looked like a stranger. He dropped the bag right at my feet, and started shouting. Shouting at me. "I am giving you 5 minutes, peace," he roared. 5 minutes to choose. You either sleep with the landlord and fix this money problem, or you take your bag and leave this house. I actually laughed. I thought, this must be a sick joke. I looked at him and told him to stop that kind of talk immediately. But he didn't stop. His eyes were cold. He said, "I am not playing, peace. This is the final conclusion." I felt the blood drain from my face. The gravity of his words hit me like a physical blow. I dropped to my knees on the cold floor, begging, crying and pleading with him. "IK, please, think about our daughter. Think about us. Please, don't do this." He was deaf to my cries. The man I married, the father of my child, stood over me. He refused to listen. Then, my people, he did the unthinkable. He raised his hand. He bit me. He physically threw me out of the house, right onto the dark street. I was outside, bag on the ground, the sound of the door slamming echoing in my ears. I was completely alone. It was late, dark, and I had nowhere to go. My heart was shattered, but my head was reeling. The only place I could think of, the only shelter I had, was my small sewing shop. But that wasn't the biggest problem. My biggest, most crushing problem was my 3-year-old girl, who was now trapped inside that house with a father who had just thrown her mother out. I cried. Oh, how I cried all day, and I cried all night. I slept on the floor of my tiny shop, hugging my knees, just praying for my daughter. In those first few weeks, my only comfort, my only best friend, was Charity. God bless that lady. She would come to my shop every day. She'd bring me food, she'd help me sew, but most importantly, she would talk to me. "Peace, my sister," she'd say, holding my hand, "you need to try and get over IK. You need to move on. He doesn't deserve you." I would look at her, tears in my eyes, and ask, "How, Charity? How can I move on? I have no money. I have no home. All I have is this shop and the worry for my child." But Charity was persistent. She kept telling me that God had a better plan. She kept telling me that the man who loved me would never ask me to do something so wicked. Slowly, her words began to chip away at my pain. 2 months passed. Of silence, tears, and relentless work. I had to forget him. I had to focus on the work, on the fabric, on the steady rhythm of the needle. That was my therapy. I was slowly, painfully, starting to move forward. The shop became my sanctuary. My focus was simple: survive. My people, can I tell you something? The rest of this story, it happened like a miracle. A true, undeniable act of God. One afternoon, I was busy working, finishing a special dress for a longtime customer. A car pulled up outside my small shop. Not just any car, a sleek, beautiful car. The kind you only see in the movies. My customer came in, all smiles, to collect her clothes. But she wasn't alone. She was being driven by her senior brother. He stood there, just outside the door, waiting. And then he walked in. I swear, it was just like a switch flipped. He walked in, introduced himself briefly, and something in his eyes, I don't know. It was gentle. It was kind. He was a billionaire. He was sharp, dressed impeccably, and incredibly focused. We just started talking. It was so natural. I truly thought it was a joke at first, this powerful man talking to a simple seamstress like me. Maybe it was the sheer exhaustion of my journey, or maybe it was the honesty in his gaze, but I found myself opening up. I explained everything. I told him what had happened between me and my ex-husband. The struggle, the ultimatum, the abandonment, the fear for my daughter. I held nothing back. He just listened, patiently, intently. And when I was done, he didn't judge. He didn't pity. He just looked at me with respect. To cut a long, beautiful story short, my friends, that conversation was the beginning of my second life. He courted me. He treated me with dignity. He treated me like a queen. And guess what? I got married again. To a man who values me, who honors me, and who treats my beautiful child, my daughter, like she is his own flesh and blood. That was the biggest happiness of all. That my little girl had a father who loved her unconditionally. Now, while all this was happening, life was not so kind to IK, my ex-husband. Before I got married to my new wonderful husband, I heard through the grapevine that IK had quickly married another lady, probably to fill the space I left. But that lady, she didn't stick around long. She left him because, you guessed it, the problem he had when we were married was still the same: no money. When poverty knocks, even a quick marriage falls apart. My new husband didn't just give me security, he gave me the wings to fly. He told me, "Peace, you are a businesswoman. You are smart. Let's do something big." He opened a huge, beautiful, state-of-the-art supermarket for me. Not a small shop, but a massive business. My goal now is to be successful, so I started hiring more sales assistants, more staff. I was finally living my dream, transforming from a desperate seamstress to a thriving supermarket owner. I was busy, focused, and happy. Meanwhile, my new, wonderful husband didn't just give me comfort, he gave me confidence. He opened a huge, beautiful, modern supermarket for me. Not a sewing shop, but a major business. It was massive. On the grand opening day, I was in my element, managing staff, organizing stock, and feeling the power of my own success. I was so busy thinking, I need more sales assistants, I need more people on the floor. And then, my people, I kid you not, the door opened, and who walked in? My ex-husband, IK. He saw me. He saw the beautiful, successful woman I had become, managing this big enterprise. He saw the shame in his own reflection and immediately tried to turn back. But it was too late. He was trapped. He looked broken, hungry, and desperate. To eat was a problem for him now. He walked slowly toward me, fell to his knees, not to beg for a job, but to beg for forgiveness. For what he did to me, for throwing me out, for forcing that terrible choice. A word of advice from peace. My people, what did I do? I looked at him, and I saw a shell of the man I once knew. I forgave him, because holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But forgiveness is not reconciliation. I didn't take him back. I wished him well. My advice to you all is this: your current situation is not your final destination. When a door is slammed in your face, God is preparing to open a warehouse for you. Do not let disappointment define you. Hold on to your craft, hold on to your faith, and remember this: A man who sees your worth will never ask you to compromise your dignity for a few coins. Always choose your peace. God will handle the rest. And that, my people, is the story of peace. A story that shows us that even when someone tries to bury you, they're only planting a seed for your growth. Ik thought that by throwing me out, he was destroying my life. But what he did was clear the path for the man God had truly intended for me, and the success I was destined to achieve. Never let a moment of darkness define your entire future. If you are watching this right now, and you are going through a tough time, remember this one thing: forgive, but never forget the lesson. Dust yourself off, hold your head high, and focus on the good that is coming. Your billionaire moment is just around the corner. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you think of Ik's ultimatum? Have you ever had a moment in your life where a big betrayal led to a massive blessing? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. I read every single one of your comments, and your feedback truly keeps this channel going. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe to African Tales Stories so you don't miss our next powerful testimony. Hit the notification bell so you know exactly when we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching and sharing your time with me. Until next time, stay blessed, stay strong, and keep fighting for your success. Bye.